going on, guys? Just a quick video. Well, it might be rather long. I'm not too sure yet. I just wanted to address two comments that I got on my electric DPS loadout, the one that I was testing out my old 2020 loadout to see if it was still good. The first one, I'm not going to say the name of the individual that commented, but I'm pretty sure you can find it. It says, LOL, you are second and you think we will take your loadout, noob. I'm like, first of all, you don't have to. It was more so me just showing if my loadout's still good. I left that for you guys to decide. And plus, like I showed in that video, that clip, I was going against a precision DPS with 200 arts, and I'm a might DPS with 160 arts. So I'm like, I would hope that that precision DPS beat me. And you can't win them all the time. I'm like, you see people post videos all the time and they're always top DPS, and I'm like, because they're actually going through and giving you the best, you know, making sure they look the best. Versus me, I'm like, if I'm second, I'm second. If I'm third, I'm third. You're not always going to be top. And the second comment I would like to go over is as of the following. It says, please also explain you have over 400 skill points, which also helps you put out so much damage. When you guys do these videos, make sure you say SP matters. Do this loadout with someone with around 100 skill points. You will not see the same numbers. When you guys make these types of videos, you give false hope to new players. Now, I would like to address that. That is not my intention to give false hope to new players. Like I said, I was just testing that loadout. I test the loadout with what I have. If I have 160 arts, you know, 450 skill points, I grind for it. I didn't pay for it. I might give this false hope. I'm sorry, it's not my intention. I assume people know that if they're looking at me at 350 CR and they see that I've actually played the game for a while and my artifacts are up, I'm assuming that they would know that, hey, you know, this is what I can aspire to, you know, in a degree. Not saying, you know, I'm anything to aspire to, but as far as, you know, them wondering why they aren't putting out the damage. If you're CR 250, you know, with 200 skill points, and you're wondering why aren't you doing the same as someone that's 350 with 450 skill points, I'm like, I feel that should be a given. But this individual wanted me to show what it's like to have 100 skill points, so I'm gonna do that right now. I don't need anything in my weapon flight for this test. I'm not gonna put anything. I'm just gonna put in heat vision, because heat vision is in my loadout, and I'll put, that's 1 skill point, that's 21, and that is 61. So I'll even take my artifacts off just because, you know, new players might not have artifacts, so I will take these off. Just so you guys can see the difference, because apparently, you know, I don't want to give anybody false hope. So 10-second parsers are up, and let's go. Like I tried to explain to the individual, I'm like, I built my loadout with my artifacts in mind, because right now heat vision is just doing single target damage, but nonetheless, I'm still going. And I ran out of power there because I have none of might and power. And on this next one, I will hit my supercharge. There we go. Let's just see how high we can actually get it. Just a loadout. And running out of power. Alright, so 71. I will put my artifacts back on, just in case there's some noob out there that actually has 60 skill points with 160 arts. And I'll do a couple parsers with this. Just so you guys can see, I'm like, the difference between running no arts with 60 skill points and running with 60 skill points and arts. And I'll hit my supercharge there. And that's already 113, so... $162. So my artifacts are making a big difference. But I will continue the test. I will take these artifacts back off. Stat points. I will put... Oh, no, not precision. So that's 40, 61, 61, so I'll put 40 into might. Scroll all the way down. Come on, 40. 40. So that's about 100 skill points. And I have my artifacts off, just double checking. Yes, they're off. And here we go. I'm not gonna even pop my supercharger. I want to kind of save that for later. Now let's try 100 skill points, and now let's put the artifacts back on. So first parse was 111, second one was 101. Let that drop. I'll take my artifacts back off. Stat points. So right now this is running about 100 skill points. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 101 skill points. Okay, whatever. And now I will put another 50, so that'll be about 105 skill points. And let's try this again. Some people might say, oh, well, you know, you're still CR 350, so that gives you might. I'm like, it's not hard to CR, get your CR up, and they have a CR skip to 310 now. So I'm not gonna even bother taking off my gear, and honestly, it's only not even that serious. Alright, that's that. Now let's put the artifacts back on. And this one I'll actually pop my supercharge since I have a decent amount of supercharge built up. So that was 112. That was before supercharge kicked in. 150. I think that's the highest parsing one, because that was with the supercharge. 179. Okay. Let's take the artifacts back off. Go into stat points. We were at 150 total skill points used roughly. I'll put another 50. So that should give us 200 skill points. So for those who have 200 skill points, this is, and no artifacts because you're a noob apparently. Let's check out the damage you would do. A rough estimate, like I said, I am CR 350. You might be a little lower than me, or you might be higher. And you know what, I'm gonna pop my supercharge just so you guys can see it, since I have it built up. I was 79 with the supercharge. $76. Okay, so that's that. Let's put the artifacts back on. I might be able to get my supercharge off on this one. Let's see. I mean, even if I don't get them back on, I'm pretty sure I'll do way more damage than that. See, I'm already at 95. And my power's actually not running out as fast. $124K. Alright, that's that. That was with 200 skill points and 160 yards. So let's take these off once again. And you might say, oh, well, what if I don't have 160 yards? I'm like, I try it with 0 and 160. I'm like, I don't have in between. I'm not going to put, you know, enough to rank up to 1 to 80 and then 120 just so you guys can see the difference. I'm sorry. I apologize. So now I'll put another 50 skill points. So this should be 250. So you have 250 skill points. This and your CR 350. This is and no artifacts. This is what you would do with that loadout. It's not really much of a difference from the other one without the artifacts. The 200 skill points without artifacts. It's really not much. I can definitely see that I clearly don't have enough power. Just the artifacts that gave me a decent amount of power. Alright, now let's put the artifacts back on. So we went from 65 being the highest parser. Now let's see what we get so far. Okay. That's the first one. Second one, 121. We'll go one more. 120. Okay. That was with no supercharge. And I was sitting at 98. 98K might. But we'll take these off. I'm losing count. I think this is 300 skill points total used after putting another 50. 240, 280. Yeah, so 300. Double check to make sure my artifacts are off. Yes, my artifacts are off. So 300 skill points. Let's see. With no artifacts. $74. Okay, so that actually, I think that was up by maybe 10,000 from the other one, and it dropped down. $58, $60, and I'm running out of power, so we'll leave it like that. And now let's put the artifacts back on. $89. $119. I kind of messed up my rotation there for a second. That's fine. Yeah, I messed up on that one, but 91. Yeah, I kind of messed that up. Kind of messed the whole thing up there. Even still, 125, even with the messed up. Let me stop it. So, once again, let's take these off. And now this would be another 50, so if you had 350 skill points, I believe. $350 skill points and no artifacts. And I'll actually pop my supercharge. $85. That's with the supercharge. $95. I still think that supercharge counted towards it. We'll see if this one drops. $62. Yeah, that dropped. We'll get one more. $66. Okay. Now, let's try with the artifacts. And I know I'm already doing way more damage. I'm not gonna even pop my supercharge. Kinda messed up my loadout there, but we'll see, that doesn't matter in a second. 124. $115. $124. Alright. Let's take these artifacts off. And now this would be obviously maxed might and power, so that's the last thing we have left. Let's do it. And this is with no artifacts. $68. I'll hit the supercharge right now. $59. I don't think the supercharge procs on that one. There we go. $97. See if we can get one more. $69. Now, obviously, with artifacts this time. Okay, that was the first one. That was only 50. It's always slow to start. 112. Let's get one more, and then I will pop my supercharge. Or 89 rather. I don't know why that was so low. $171, 212, 141, 131. Pop this last supercharge. 167. This should be the next one is with the supercharge rock. It should be quite a bit. I hope. 183. You win some, you lose some. So that is that. I'm like, you guys can judge for yourself. Started from the bottom with no artifacts, 50 skill points with artifacts. Well, 120, 180 artifacts rather. 160. I don't know what the hell. It's been a long day. I'm like, the artifacts help out a lot. I'm like, they give you a percentage of your base stat on top of all the other artifacts you have. So 3% might, 5% might, 2% might, and as well as their effects. So they work with each other. I have the solar amplifier because it increases my heat vision's damage. It does burning and it explodes. So I have that extra dot damage, and as well as the strategist card, I gain damage critical applied damage over time, and I have the transformation card, gain 20% crit chance. So they all work together. So I feel there's a distinct difference from people saying, oh well, you have 200 skill points and 180 arts, or you might have 400 skill points and rather 400 skill points and 80 arts. It's like, okay, but the arts make a very big difference. A very big difference. So you can, unless you're running around with 200 arts at 100 skill points, I'm like, you'll do better than a lot of people, but in the grand scheme of things, artifacts are the tiebreaker. They make you that much better. Also, my parsers were set at 10 second. I know I've seen quite a few YouTubers, I'm not going to name names, and they have their parsers set to like 60 seconds for some reason. I don't know why, or after combat. And then they're like, oh, look at all this damage. And I'm like, that's less than my 10-second parse. And likewise, those are the same YouTubers that post after chasing down scorecards, to find out which one they could be the best at. And once they get into that instance where they're top DPS, they post it saying, hey, this is a badass loadout. No, that is not what I do. If you use my loadout, it's good. You've seen it. I'm like, well, I feel it's good. If you don't like it, don't use it. But I'm not saying you're going to be top. I'm not saying you're going to be bottom. I'm like, it all depends who's in your group. I'm like, if you have prick DPS, all 200 arts, unfortunately, this is a might loadout. Might isn't as superior when it comes to up against prick. So take that for what it's worth. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.